As a real estate agent, are the buyers that you help purchase a home, are they reaching back out to you when they're ready to sell their home years later? That's a question that we all have to ask ourselves. And if you're curious about that and some stats that I just recently found out, then you're in the right place. Let's chat. Hi, I'm Mike Cerrone with the Comeback Agent, and I just want to share a quick idea with you a little lesson that I learned as I was doing some research on a project. Um, Again, my story real fast is I'm coming back after a 15-year break. Prior to that, I sold homes actively for 17 years. This is my first year back, the very beginning of it. And my goal is to sell 25 homes in my first year in 2025. And we'll see if we can do that. That's what this channel is tracking and we're talking about. If you like that, be sure to join us and subscribe. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about what I discovered as I did a research project. I went in and I've talked about this on another video, but I was basically trying to find if my old PCSOI has any validity to it today. So I was doing all this research. And I talked about that again in another video. If you want to learn about that, go back and watch that. This is something that came out of that process. What I found was that I would go in, I looked at my MLS to try to find some of this information. And unfortunately, my MLS only goes back to 2007, 2008, and my career goes back to 93. So the majority of my career is not in the MLS anymore, which is unfortunate. But the last couple of years are. So I took those last couple of years and I tried to cross-reference them with a list that I had. And that's where I discovered this information. And so what I would see is that I had helped somebody buy or sell a home an X time frame, and then the MLS will show, at least going back a ways, what's happened since. So I got curious because I could see that a property would have changed hands maybe 2, 3, 4 times in the following 15 years, right? And sometimes 16, 17 years that they were tracking that I could see. And so I started to get curious, hey, the agent who helped somebody buy, is that the same agent that those people used when they turned around and sold a couple years later? And I could see this in a couple different stair steps, right? So because I could see a property was, like I worked on it in 07, and then those people then turned around and sold in 12. Well, I wasn't around actively in 12, so they didn't use me, they used somebody else. So I could see that. So my question was, okay, but that property then sold again in 15, who helped them, right? And then the 15, it might have sold again in 18 or 19 or whatever. Some of these properties, again, had maybe 4 or 5 transactions over that time period, which sounds crazy. Now, some only have 1 or 2, some have none, but many of them have multiples. And so I was trying to track those. And I only did a couple of them. I didn't do this on everything I saw, but this is just kind of an observation. But the ones I tracked where the agent went in and helped them buy, and then that buyer turned around and sold a few years later. The question is, did they hire the same agent as their listing agent to sell the home? And the answer is no. On every single one that I looked at, where an agent came in to help this person buy, when that person turned around to sell, who did they hire? They hired somebody else. That was crazy to me. I did not expect to see that. And to give perspective, this is probably 5, 10, no more than 20 total loops, because I didn't track a whole bunch. I just started watching them, and they kept coming out the same. I was like, this is nuts. So again, an agent works really hard and helps these people buy a home. And then they turn around and sell 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 7 years later, whatever. And are they the listing agent? And the answer was no. And what happened in between? And your guess is as good as mine, but most likely to me, that agent didn't stay in touch with them, right? They closed the transaction and then they didn't do anything to stay in touch with them. I know that because I was guilty of that in my early career. I wasn't staying in touch with my past clients. And I'm guilty of it, after I ended my career, I should have stayed in touch with these people somehow, right? That was a huge mistake. I thought I'd never need it again, and I didn't do anything with it. Well, here we are. So the lesson is, get the list of all your people you've helped and stay in touch with them because you don't know when they're going to turn. By the way, some of these properties, some turned really fast within like 6 months or 9 months. Now that was unusual, but some of them turned within a couple years, within a decade. People move more often than you think. And you can really see it with these properties, just this particular, I'm going by the address, and you could see this property turning, and you could see the connection between the buyer agent that bought, and then they turned around and sold with a different agent, and then an agent helped them buy, and then they turned around and used a different agent to sell. Obviously, that agent that helped them buy was not staying in touch with them in the interim. So that's my lesson for you. I hope that you take that advice. Go do your own research. Go into your MLS and find a property and just track it. You look in the history section of your MLS. You find an address, and then you look in the history section, and you can see these transactions going along. I'm doing it this way because that's where they go in chronologically. The oldest one's down below, and then you go up in time to the most current one, and you can see who the agents are. Anyway, that was enlightening in a way, and maybe it'll be helpful to you and inspiring that you need to, again, build your list and stay in touch with those people. All right, hope this has been helpful. If it has, by the way, you like this kind of material, give us a thumbs up. Questions, put them down in the comments section. Try to answer all those. And if you like this material and haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel. All right, keep moving forward. Bye for now.